Stefanko and Mohammed Ibrahim from the overall title.
And what he has done for the overall championship is this. This is with the drop points, and Banky only has about a 17-point advantage coming to the final round with Keithley and Stefanko right behind for company. So it's a 3-way, 4-way, even 5-way fight, we can safely say, just outside of that chance. But 4-way is the crucial thing to say here, is the guys going to the championship fight.
Thanks, Des and Amo. We should mention one of the names on the list there. Mohammed Ibrahim will not be partaking in the first part of today qualifying, so he's going to miss the opportunity to get points there for himself and the team.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough for him, but you know, he had received too many penalty points, so he got a qualifying ban, and it's really tough for him because he's been so good in qualifying. He's been the best qualifier this year. I think 4 out of the 6 rounds I've had so far, he's qualified on the front row. I think 2 pole positions. So yeah, he'll lose a couple of points from that.
Yeah, that could have a massive impact come the end of the evening, but he's not the only driver out there, of course. There's plenty more races, so let's pass it back over to Des and Amo to talk us through the driver profiles.
Yeah, Team Flash, the defending champions, they've accumulated 198 points between a combination of Mohamed Tasbi, who's got 1 race win to his name this season, and the young Filipino, Inigo Anton, who's got bags of potential.
And speaking of potential, it's a potential that has not been fulfilled for this season for Black Arts Racing, who was second in last year's championship. They have Kalen Chin and Josh Powen in their stable, but they rather want to finish the season on a high.
Fair enough to say it's the same story for Safe House out of Korea. Much expected, the Miko Nasi Jinma's Vilton partnership, both based in Singapore, but they've only accumulated 77 points all season.
And one of the only 3 teams this season who have maintained the same driver lineup for all 7 rounds. It's Sam 9 with Nakib Aslan and Abe Aslan. Both have been race winners this season. And again, one of those teams that want to finish its season on a high.
Apex Racing out of Brunei have got Jake 10 and Ben Seek on board them today. At the moment, they're 11th out of 11 in the team championship. They're looking for points to get up into the top 10.
And next up, it's the sister team to the Apex Racing team, but they're doing far much better with the likes of Mohamed Zikri and Julian Kunze in their stable. Zikri wants to finish the season well after not really starting so well. Kunze wants to finish on a high.
We're excited when TX3 out of France joined this competition. However, Mihai Neg, Romania, and Chris Hogfeld from Sweden, they've not put points on the board. 56 all term.
And both drivers are champions-elect, and the team as well is champion-elect. Mumbai Falcons came into this season storming to actually challenge Williams Esports. They have Mohammed Ibrahim, the defending champion, and Ben Spanky, potential champion.
JMX Phantom out of Indonesia, the most improved team of the season. Russell Reyes, the 21-year-old from the Philippines, recently joined by Daffy Ardiansa, the teenager from Indonesia.
And from Wantage originally in the UK, now Grove, Williams Esports, Jack Keithley and Martin Stefanko, who looked like they were going to dominate the season, but they had a real fight from then on, and they are going to try to fight away from Mumbai Falcons.
Dan Turnley and young Axel Knockarm representing the EGG network. They will be trying to avoid getting kicked out of the top 10.
Thanks once again, Des and Amo. And if you've never watched the E1 Championship, the race format works the same each and every single round. It's effectively a 3-step process, points to be won across the board. Alex, talk me through it.
Absolutely. We have qualifying, and that sets a grid for race 1. Qualifying is only 10 minutes, and race 1's 15 minutes. The second race, the 30-minute race, is also a reverse grid race. And you can see the points there for qualifying. Top 5 get points, and the top 15 gets points in race 1 and 2. Equal points for both races. 30-minute race is reverse grid, but it's longer. And of course, let's not forget, fastest lap gets 2 points in each race.
And if you're... Sorry, go on.
And of course, there's drop points as well. Now, we don't have to worry about drop points because we're at the end of the championship, but basically you have to drop points from the lowest scoring round between rounds 1 to 6. And that's just to kind of guard against someone getting a disconnect, as this is an online championship. So if you are unlucky to get disconnected, you can still fight for the championship.
Right. 2 weeks ago, we were in South America. Des and Amo, where are we today?
We are in Italia at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, better known as Imola. It's a near 5-kilometer circuit. It's got 19 corners. It's a narrow, old-school track that is fast and ever so flowing.
Yeah. It's a great circuit, personally one of my all-time favorites, and it's a car that's quickly becoming a fan favorite as well. The Formula RaceRoom X22, 1.6 liter V6 turbo hybrid engine, 1050 horsepower, and we had to point out again, no driver aid, so this car is a real handful even for the pros.
So, the money, the cash, the prize on offer accumulated, it's about 20,000 USD, I believe.
That's
a
right.
substantial amount, Alex.
Absolutely. You get money all the way down to 10th position, and look at that. 5 grand for the winner in the Drivers' Championship. That's pretty special. 3 for second and 2 for third.
So somebody's bank account is going to look a lot healthier come the end of the evening, but it's also about the teams, not just the individuals.
Yes, that's right. Top 5 for the team's championship, and slightly less, and it's spread across two drivers. So you could say maybe it's historically always teams championship. It's not quite as good as drivers, but it's still valuable.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to be heading over to qualifying in just a moment. I want to ask about strategies for this. What are you expecting?
Okay, so we always ballot the tire wear and the fuel, and tire wear is ×3 for race 1 and ×2 for race 2. That means, and we haven't seen it much this year, we might see the soft tire in play in the races. Imola's not as tough on the tires as some of the other tracks we've been to, like Silverstone. So I think they can make the soft tires work, and be interesting to see if they use them.
And as for the track itself, Amo, you were guiding us through what we can expect today, but in terms of racing, I mean, bearing in mind we're here, this is the end game, it's do or die, what kind of racing can we expect to see on our screens?
I might sound a bit anticlimactic for the viewers at home, especially the fact that this is a championship bout, but it's going to be a bit cagey considering the fact that the DRS may not be as potent here compared to other circuits, and there's not that many many overtaking spots on this tight circuit. So really then, all the overtaking is going to be done either at Tamburello, or if you're really brave on the brakes, through Rivazza, that comes all the way back to the start-finish line.
Who do you expect to be brave? Who do you expect to be the more aggressive-minded drivers today? Who are going to be keeping an eye on?
Definitely Ibrahim for sure, because he has a qualifying ban, so he's going to be right at the back. He's going to have to scythe his way through the back of the grid and try to get up to the front as close as possible, but it seems as though his championship is just slowly slipping away here by every passing lap in the race that's coming up, at least.
Okay, and Alex, just a quick one here as well. I was looking at Sem9. I know they're not front runners, but I'm looking at the last round, and the round before that, they did extremely well. It's either they both can't do well at the same time,
Yeah.
but as a team, they're getting the points on the board.
Of course, you've got the Aslan brothers driving for Sem9. They've both won races this year, but yeah, the consistency's not been there. They have had their share of bad luck. Don't forget, round 1, they both got disconnected. But yes, they can't seem to hit the heights at the same time. One brother does well, the other doesn't do, and I don't think that's. I think this has been how the luck has fallen this season.
And the overall lead at the top for Benz Bianchi, how comfortable is that?
Ooh, it's big enough to say that you can kind of control it, but it's not a big gap. You know, if he makes one small mistake, or even if he gets disconnected, that's it. His championship could be done. So he needs to have strong races, and the best way to defend a championship, a lead, is to attack.
Yeah.
So if he can attack, put it on pole, get a good start, which is sometimes he's had some good starts this year, then he can try and protect that championship from the front. But obviously, if he has a bad qualify, say qualifies 10th, he's going to have to attack. And as you know, the smallest contact can put you in the wall, especially at this track, because this track is tricky in the fact that you've got some fast sweeping bits, but a lot of sausage curbs on apexes. So if you run a bit too much off the curb, that'll pitch you into the wall.
Now, as a non-racer, sometimes I view qualifying as an opportunity to get points on the board, depending on the track. But I just get a feeling today, in terms of qualifying, it's more important than a lot of the tracks we've experienced so far during the championship. Yeah,
I mean, we've had some great tracks for overtaking, like Spa and Silverstone. Imola, Interlagos, the previous round, was also pretty good for overtaking. Imola has got a long straight, but if you save, it's only one long straight, so you can kind of save your battery to defend there. It is a bit more difficult to overtake, although you can get it done.
Okay, interesting. The question I asked Alex about strategy ammo, are you in agreement there in terms of using the softs perhaps as an opportunity?
Yeah, especially given the fact that we're looking on screen right now, Banky is actually using the soft, so he is actually trying that particular strategy. Of course, he might be going for a qualifying simulation, but you never know that he's trying to see whether or not the race pace may be working for these soft tires as well. So yeah, it might be a possibility because you don't have long longitudinal corners like in Silverstone where it's going to hurt the left hand side of the car and the tire will wear out there, or like Interlagos previously where it's the right hand side of the tires that suffer. So in this case it will be almost equilibrium, maybe we can safely say, because it will be about the same in terms of how the wear is going to be spread out.
This may sound silly, but I just want to know from a racer's perspective, does clockwise and anti-clockwise make any difference to you? Because I know it's back-to-back issues, well, not issues, but back-to-back anti-clockwise tracks.
Yeah, in real life actually, the drivers actually suffered the most because mostly they train their necks to turn in clockwise circuits. There's very few circuits in the world that are actually anti-clockwise that have been featured in the Grand Prix calendar, and this was one of it, along with Interlagos and several others like Yeongam in Korea, and I was taken. So those circuits present a bit of a different challenge for the drivers because physically it's demanding on the left-hand side of the head because they normally train to go right all the time. So it's not much of a problem in sim racing, of course, because you don't have that physicality. But I guess in terms of car setup, you might want to try to make the car at least more towards, you know, snappy on turning left rather than turning right.
Okay. I want to bring Des into the conversation as well, because I know I'm supposed to be neutral, and I am being neutral, but I have to admit I've really enjoyed watching Dafa Ardiansa since he's come into the E1 Championship. He's been very impressive, and I can imagine if he was here from the start, he'd probably be right up there in terms of the rankings and points.
I doubt they'd be up there because the actual, the car, the JMX Phantom team, they don't have the pace of the Williams and the Mumbai Falcons. But I really enjoyed the work of Russell Reyes, his teammate. Dafa has come in for the last 3 races of the season. Russell Reyes has been there all season, and in other competitions, Reyes has been somebody who I'm seeing has improved week in, week out, is aggressive. I know Amo has raced against him in the past and doesn't share my enjoyment of him because he's a little bit too aggressive, but maybe that's what I like about him, Amo.
Yeah, indeed. And the fact that, having said that before, I do admire the fact that his racecraft has improved substantially since I last raced against him as well. But yeah, he doesn't show some of that lethal aggression like diving onto the inside as often as he would. So he could keep it together and try to challenge for future championships. But at this point in time, it's just a learning experience for him. And to win a lot of plaudits, not least from you, of course, it's definitely going to do him a world of good confidence-wise.
He's not out on the circuit at the moment, Russell Reyes. Which is interesting. There's a little bit of behind-the-scenes drama going on, I understand, which will get 1 or 2 drivers a little bit of nervous energy going. You want it to be very smooth, Amo, don't you, or Adam? You don't want things to go wrong, and 1 or 2 of the racers are having problems getting into the server.
Yeah, we'll try rectify all the issues as fast as we can, but we haven't touched on this. The fixed setup, Amo.
Yep.
Does this make a difference to certain drivers? Not every driver, but certain ones?
Most certainly, especially given the fact that a lot of the Asian guys who competed in other championships and other platforms, most of those games are either on fixed setup or half setup. But when they do the fixed setup, the guys actually perform well. We saw just now, we were talking about Sam 9 having the same driver lineup throughout the entire season. Those 2 guys have had wins in fixed setup races. So Nakib and Nabil may be the ones to watch out for in this particular race, Adam. And in this case, they might try to, you know, stir the pot a bit in the championship fight.
Yeah, it will. Ben Spanky, his lead is 16 points, so he can afford not to be in the top so long as the likes of Jack Keithley and co aren't in the top as well. So that's a lot of jeopardy out here as well, isn't there?
Indeed, and the fact that 17 points may sound a lot, but coming to the final round, we've seen lesser points than that more points than that being taken away. So he can't rest on his laurels. He has to actually be still keeping up that consistency that has seen him in the championship fight from day 1.
The good news for Ben Spanky is he is in the server. He's okay. It's the likes of Stefanko. Jack Keithley's in there as well. Stefanko's not in there, but Mohamed Ibrahim's also got that qualifying ban. So the early omens looking very good for Ben Spanky.
Well,
Yep.
I just want to chip in as well, because how important it is for him, given that his teammate is not going to be in qualifying. He's going to get 0 points on the board. And let's not forget, there's a grand prize of 3,000 USD for the team championship as well there. So he's going to be flying that flag, knowing full well Williams will be breathing down their necks, of course. So I think we're ready now for qualifying. So passing the mics over to Des and Amo.
Okay, yeah, there'll be a big sigh of relief, I'm sure, now those early gremlins have gone. How does it affect the driver? You drive, you have driven, and you want it to be as clean as possible, don't you?
Absolutely. Not only clean, but also try to be consistent. And if you have delays in qualifying, especially for a championship decider, it just adds to that tension.
Okay, we have got a 10-minute qualification. Amo Hazik, he's the pretty one alongside me, Des Corkill, in the commentary box. Ben Spanky is the man who we will follow out just to see what kind of mood he is in. Ben Spanky for Mumbai Falcons is the championship leader, and it's quite a considerable gap. It's 17 points, as you say. Do you expect him to just be cautious and go middle of the pack for race number 1, make sure he gets points in, and really try and do a fast qualification as well?
Yeah, I think he'll go for the latter, a fast qualification. He'll try to be as fast as he could, even with the ballast that it seems as though he doesn't really like it, because the 15 kilos has affected him in the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, okay, so the ballast will come into play. Those who are near the top of the standings, they do have a ballast, they do have a penalty, but Ben Spanky is there at the moment looking okay. How about his nearest rival, Jack Keithley? Yep, the Williams team are out on the circuit. They're looking pretty okay, and Martin Stefanko is out there as well. So the big boys are out to play.
Yep, and Stefanko's out here right now. And remember, he's the only guy among the two top teams, Williams Esports and Mumbai Falcons, to not have a quali ban. So he has been consistently been in the top 5 in qualifying, apart from a few rounds. But yeah, to have a qualifying ban, it really hurts, especially for Ibrahim, to see those extra 5 points that could help him in the championship just go away at such a crucial juncture in the season.
Martin Stefanko had 2 race wins in the first 2 rounds of the season. Hasn't had one since. Let's follow him around Imola, because he's now on his flying lap. And Amo, can you talk us around this famous old circuit?
Yep, absolutely. So he was on the front straight there with DRS Open, coming out to Variante Tamburello. Of course, the site of a tragic incident in 1994. We don't have to harp on that. That's already well known in public knowledge. Through Villeneuve, 5 and 6. It's almost like a flick, isn't it? Because the cars are going fast. And he's purple right now because there has no representative lap time just about yet. So we're waiting until someone breaks the beam, then we can actually see if that's fast or not. Up the hill then, coming out to Piratella. That is actually a fast corner. It's quite a frightening one, especially go off track. We saw in practice just now how Axel Nocom actually went off track slightly and spun. So that might be a thing to watch out. Then the drop to Aqua Minerali, my personal favorite corner in the entire track. It's quite exhilarating to get it right. Then up to Variante Alta. Watch the sausage cuts on the inside. Charles Leclerc found that out this year when he spun right into the barriers while trying to chase for the podium. Then it's a drop to Rivazza, that's 16. Then 17 and 18 in front of some of the houses here. They are in the Emilia-Romagna region. Some beautiful houses in a beautiful area. Through the final 2 corners then, it's almost full commitment for Stefanko. Fastest sector 1, and he is green in sector 2. Will it be pole position? No. 3rd place so far for one of the championship contenders.
Okay, 3rd place for Stefanko. Mohammed Tasby is the man who set the fastest time out there at the moment. Let's have a look at Jack Keithley for Williams. He's out on a flying lap as well. Hasn't set a time. He's just gone just a little bit later, and he's got a lot of free tarmac in front of him, Jack Keithley. Actually, he hasn't got a sector time as yet, so maybe he's not on a flying lap.
Yeah, he's on his out lap, so we're waiting until he just comes around. Remember, this is a fixed setup. They don't get to actually adjust any of the batteries, I think, so they're gonna have to take it conservatively to fill that battery up and then go for it.
Ben Spanky, he is in P2 at the moment, the championship leader. Mohammed Tasby is the man who has the lead. Ben Spanky from Mumbai Falcons, he'd be delighted to have P2.
Yep, absolutely. And the fact that it will reduce the damage caused by the fact that Ibrahim has actually gone out of qualifying because of the quali ban. So 15 points in it between Mumbai Falcons and Williams Esports. This could go all the way to the wire as well.
Yeah, there is the team championship to think about as well, but I'm pretty sure Ben Spanky is the guy who's saying, listen, the title, that's what I really want to focus on, because there's a lot of cash at stake for these fellas.
Absolutely. It's a big payday for not only themselves, but for the team involved, who have been involved well for them from the very beginning to start this journey. Now it comes to a great crescendo towards the end here. And for Ben's Banky, he is the guy who's champion-elect. He has the target on his back, so he's gonna have to pull something special in qualifying here so that he can actually breathe easy coming to the sprint race.
P2 at the moment for the Mumbai Falcons racer. He's bottom left of your screen, championship leader. Second at the moment, only Mohammed Tasbi, who once again has put in a fine lap. Dan Finney's put in a good lap, a 1:18.295, which is within 0.6 of a second of Mohammed Tasbi. So there are some quick laps out there, but where can possibly overtake?
Well, again, it's just that first corner, Tamburello, and then
700's out.
Yep, 700's out of there, but it's his personal best, so I don't know why it says personal best. It's actually going much slower here, unless it's Jack Keithley who has actually gone faster, so that's why it was his personal best.
So Jack Keithley, second in the championship, is the new man on pole position. Haven't been on screen. I'm just going to stick with Banky just for the moment as he comes round Rivatta, and then we'll head into the home straight. His time at the moment is a 1:17.6. That's the time that he's looking to beat. As he breaks the start-finish line, he will... Ooh, he's 5/10 down. He's still in second. Still in second, so that's not bad. But Russell Reyes has gone quicker, and Stefanko is next up. Let's have a look at Naqib Aslan. You've mentioned the SEM 9 team. 2 wins this season for Naqib Aslan. Probably too far out of the reckoning to win, but you never know. There's a lot of points at stake today.
Absolutely, because it's about, what, 5 points for pole, 25, that's 55, and plus the 2 fastest lap, that's 4. So 59 points on the board. He's mathematically still within a chance,
Yes.
but it's well outside at this point in time.
He needs a lot of things to go his way, but how he'd like to get a 3rd championship win. He is, of course, a former winner of this E1 championship, but how he'd like to get a 3rd Grand Prix win, as here he is, the SEM 9 racer. Again, his lap time at the moment is a 1:18.322. He's not on a flying lap at the moment. Jack Keithley is the man who's on pole position. Everyone's taking it quite serenely at the moment.
Indeed, and it seems as though that they're saving their best for last, so some of these guys are actually holding their cards quite closely. But Keithley is the one that has truly put the gauntlet on the floor here, and just for everyone to pick up, because 4/10 faster, that is one heck of a pace that he has over a single lap, but we'll have to wait until the race comes around.
Okay, he's on a flying lap. He is currently in pole position. 1:17.06. He has a bit of a wobble there, but great pace from Jack Keithley. Williams Esports there, chasing the team title as well.
Yep, indeed. Oh, he's gone completely wide there. That's track limits, and yep, he knows it. He immediately goes back to the pits, but it's not enough time, so he's going to settle for now, unless, of course, Russell Reyes can upset the apple cart.
My mate Russell Reyes from JMX Phantom, the 21-year-old Filipino. No, he's pulled out as well. Stefanko is currently in P3 for Williams Esports. Flying lap. Has he got time? Yes, he has got time. No, is that just a glitch that he's got there for Stefanko?
Yep. We might see it as a glitch, but in his own boy, he might have had a big moment fishtailing coming out of Tamburello, and he abandons it as well. So that's the top 3 having their qualifying done already.
Well, there's 1:17. There's 1:53 left. The best laps are 1:17, so they have got the chance to go out again.
They can, but unfortunately, because RaceRoom, they actually cancel once it goes to 0. It's done. So Banky then is the only guy right now on track in that top 5 who can improve, along with Tasbi. Tasbi's still in there too.
Mohammed Tasbi, who set the early pace. Russell Reyes is currently in P2. Jack Keithley is in 3. Is Banky able to improve? He's 2/10 down after 2 sectors as they come into the home straight. Ben Spanky.
P2. Oh, that was a good final sector, even if it wasn't his personal best. That actually got him up there into P2. That's why he needed the 4 points. Could come in so handy in this final run.
Josh Perwin has missed a chance to get out there. Let's have a look at Jinmas Vilton for Team Safehouse. Safe Jinmas Vilton, not had the greatest of seasons, but my favourite livery, it must be said, of the all black.
Yeah, and because it has a bit of a yellow trim as well, so it does evoke memories of the JPS Team Lotus of the time. And I can't say the full name, by the way, because it might be censored.
Old school, but he's a long way down. He's a second down, and he's probably going to finish this lap. There's only 2 racers out on the circuit at the moment, Jin Masvilton and Australia's Dan Finney. In fact, Dan Finney has come in. He's unable to improve on his time, but it's a creditable P9 for the 34-year-old Australian. So qualifying has still got a few seconds to go, but at the moment, it's Keithley and Banky on the front row. Russell Reyes, another excellent performance from the Filipino for JMX Phantom, alongside Martin Stefanko. So a good qualification for Williams Esports, and it's an all-flash third row for Mohammed Tasbi and Inigo Antam, who put in a good time. And Apex Racing Academy Brunei, represented by Julian Kunter, alongside Jin Masvilton on the 4th row.
Thanks there, Tez and Ammo. Wow, the pace from Jack Keithley. That was jaw-dropping.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's second in the championship. He's going to try and do everything to win this championship. Pole position, big gap, 4/10. But unfortunately for him, the guy who is leading the championship qualified second alongside him on the front row.
Yeah, I mean, he must have just had his hands in his face at that point, but I believe we do have Jack standing by right now. Jack, can you hear us okay?
I can indeed. I'm actually sitting, but I get your drift.
Yes, roughly. But anyway, your pace, what was that all about? That was amazing.
Well, I'd done a 0.1 in the practice before this, and offline I'd done a 0.2. I did not expect a 0. I'm pretty damn happy with that. The car just feels absolutely hooked up. The Williams car is just on absolute rails here. And yeah, it's great. I'm 4/10 quicker than Benzer, but that's the problem. It's him and he's second. So whether it was 1,000th or 4/10, it's still that order. And the main focus is the race coming up.
Really quickly, because he obviously got his fastest time long after you did, were you just watching and biting your nails just to see where he would finish up?
I was. I'm not gonna lie. If you noticed at all me having a bit more drink, my hand was shaking, just off nerves. And yeah, I tried to do one more attempt. I failed at it, and then I was waiting with like 20 minutes to go, and it felt like 10 minutes. It felt like a long time, but I've got myself in the best position possible. The driver championship would be great, but the team right now is the most realistic option. So if the driver championship comes to me, that's amazing. But I want Martin. He needs to be up closer with me, I'd say.
Okay, congratulations.
All the best for the sprint race, Jack. We'll maybe speak to you again later, okay?
Okay.
Hopefully. Enjoy, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
So that's really interesting. Normally drivers are going, oh, I could have gone faster. But he's like, no, that was it. That was the maximum.
Yeah, well, at least we love his honesty,
Yeah.
Jack Keithley. He's always honest in all the interviews that we've spoken to him. Tell you what, we're going to go for a break. When we return, it's going to be the final sprint race for the E1 Championship 2022. Jack Keithley in pole. Can he hold on and win the race for maximum points? We're going to find out next.
Hello and welcome to the E1 Championship 2022.
And we are off to a start. Jack Keithley gets the victory, punches the air in delight. Green lights get us up and running. Stefanko and Banky at the back. There is a collision. Great start, but he's bashed down now into P12.
Yeah, and you know what's double whammy there? Keithley spun it. Keithley has half spun it and into the crowd. It's a chaotic start to race 2 there.
Stefanko gets off to a slowish start, and Josh Perwin has made a move. Masvilton has also made a move, and there's more contact behind. Again, Mohammed Ibrahim as 2 racers go flying off on the outside.
They're now trying to get by in the second as Tasby. Oh, it's a hit! It's a big hit there. Tasby sent into the wall by Jack Keithley, and that is definitely going to be a steward's inquiry after this, Des.
So Mohammed Tasbi for the 2nd race in a row loses really a big number of points. This is a terrific start as Kalen Chin has a big problem.
Oh, he just went onto the curb there, got launched into the air. And unfortunately for Kalen, he's lost a huge amount of positions.
6 positions indeed it was, and contact there as well on the back there of Martin Stefenko.
Oh, in fact, it's even worse for Kalen. He's done an Austin Powers. He's actually stuck it right there in the pit lane. No, that is so disastrous for the young Aussie Singaporean.
Axel is P13 at the moment, 10-year-old who's getting tons of support on our Facebook pages.
Oh.
Let's go on board with Axel. Sorry, fella, went on board exactly the wrong time.
And he took out Nabil as well for good measure. So that is actually a rather weird way to have a crash. Here comes Keith Lee on the inside. He has actually touched Ibrahim, and that is the most controversial moment of this season. Look, his front wing is gone, Des.
Stefanko, smooth stop, but Masvilton is there behind them. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in all kinds of problems. And we are up to a start. Jack Keithley gets the victory, punches the air in delight.
What you've just seen there is displayed on our table, these beautiful trophies, gold, silver and bronze, to be awarded later tonight, because this is the E1 Championship 2022, round 7, the final round. It all comes down to the racing that we have in store at Imola. My name is Admin Carruthers, alongside the race director Alex Jung. This is organized by Axel Sports, EGG and Astro. Supported by MAM, that's the Motorsports Association of Malaysia, and RaceRoom. We are live, by the way, on Arena, plus live on Suka, and we're even broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook, so you can share the link with all your friends. It's E1 Championship, extremely easy to find. And we're also broadcasting across the region in Singapore via Mio Sports 2, in Vietnam on VTV Cab, Thailand on True Gaming Up, and in Indonesia via TVRI Sport. So hello to all the viewers from across Southeast Asia. Great to have you here with us. And before we look at the sprint race, Alex, I need to ask this, because based on what I've witnessed so far, previous 6 rounds, I know Jack Keithley of Williams is first, but they always have slow starts. Not always, but 80% of the time. That must be a concern.
Well, yeah, the last race was not a great start for them. And I remember we talked to Martin, I think, and Jack, and they were saying they have to figure out something on the starts. So for Jack Keithley's sake, I hope they have sorted that out, because if he has another start like he did at Interlagos, he could be 3rd or 4th through the first few corners.
Yeah, things can change on the flip of a dime, quite literally. And I mean, Mohammed Ibrahim, he must be absolutely chomping at the bit to finally be involved in today's racing, because
Yes.
he missed out on qualifying, of course.
Yes, of course. Well, yeah, I mean, we know he's a racer. He's going to push hard, and I'm sure he'll get up there relatively quickly.
Yeah. Emma, I want to bring you into the conversation too, because we spoke to Jack moments ago and he mentioned his teammate Martin Stefanko and that he has to be a bit closer. Do you think Stefanko is going to be disappointed so far? Must be.
Yeah, a bit disappointed that they couldn't capitalize fully on the fact that for the Team Championship we heard Jack mentioned that as well, that realistically for both of them they want to also win the Team Championship, so they couldn't capitalize on fully the fact that Benz actually was up in P2. So yeah, if he was closer he could play as rear gunner and probably sort out the team orders later, Adam.
Yeah, and what do you think Martin's going to be thinking about his overall contribution so far to the E1 Championship? Because it does seem like a long time ago, but round 1 he was magnificent.
Yeah, he came out of the blocks fighting, didn't he? He literally looked like he was going to be the guy that's just going to take the championship by the horns and just go for it, but it didn't turn out that way, and it's unfortunate for him that he has had races where he literally got into contact that wasn't his own fault, so he probably needs to just work better in trying to go through the midfield mayhem, especially in race 2.
Okay, well, tell you what, we've got the sprint race to come up. We've got the race 2 as well, which is the reverse grid. But before that, let's recap qualifying from earlier today. Des and Ammo.
Yeah, very simply, the 5 points, the bonus goes to Jack Keithley. That's so good for him. It takes him immediately on to 170 points in the championship. Ben Spanky will pick up 4. Russell Reyes, my mate, picks up another 3. Stefanko, I tell you what, he won't be too down on picking up 2 because he's on the second row of the grid, and Mohamed Tasbi fast once again. But this does play into the overall championship standings, Ammo.
Absolutely, and the team's championship, that actually we'll see that after this, but in the overall standings, it's 16 points. He only chipped up 1 point between Jack Keithley and Ben Spanky, so still a lot to play for, but the race is going to be the one that's going to be the deciding factor. Stefanko then a bit distant now in 3rd place, along with Mohamed Ibrahim, who couldn't even participate in qualifying.
Thank you once again, Des and Ammo. And I'm just thinking now, I asked you about strategy, but I want to focus not so much on tires or anything. I just want to talk about mindset for Bence, because that lead has just been shaved slightly from qualifying. Now he's probably going to have to play it safe. Make sure he stays away from any instances.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's only lost a point though, so I thought he did a great job in qualifying, because I think halfway through qualifying he would have been panicking a little bit, seeing Keithley there, because at that point I think he was in P5. So to pull out that lap, to get on the front row, that's a really good performance by Bence, and that would have been a big relief to him. However, that was just qualifying. Still got to get through the whole race, still have to get through the first few corners. And then after that, he's got to settle down and just see where his competitors are.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of his strategy, it'll be interesting to see, and the nerves, because what Jack was saying, that his hands were shaking, if we could see him on camera earlier on. It's about holding your nerve. I mean, how hard is that to do whilst you're trying to race and compete and people are behind you?
Well, like any sport, it's all about the nerves and being able to perform on the day. And these guys are the top of the top. They should be able to do it.
Yeah, I tell you who can hold their nerves really well. Des and Ammo, the commentators for the sprint race.
Very much looking forward to it as well. Ammo, it is the finale. 2 more races to go. We've been building up to this over the last couple of months. The guys are putting so much hard work. They really want to get some cash out of it at the end.
Yep, the dividends paying off today in the final round, Des, and I can't wait to see what kind of mayhem, excitement, catharsis we can safely say for some by the end of the race.
Okay, we are down to the final 10 seconds before the first of the 2 races today. On pole, we have got Jack Keithley, second in the championship standings. Ammo and Des Corkill to describe the action when the red lights go out. We are underway, and Banky looks like he's got up to a flying start. Keithley a little bit off the pace. Ben Spanky, what a big move from the championship leader. And I tell you what, Tasby's gone through there as well.
Well, Tasby around the outside coming out of Tamburello. That's what he wanted to as well. He wants to get ahead of one of the fast guys. And for Keithley, that was a nightmare scenario that he did not want to play out. And once again, the slow starting Williams esports cars have actually come to bit him again. So 3rd place at the moment is not going to be snafu, but unfortunately not the start he wanted.
On board with Martin Stefanko as well. He's gone from the 2nd row down to the 3rd row, P6 in overall for him. But Ben Bianchi, wow, any nerves will have just been really eased by that, and he can, if he just holds on, because it's difficult to overtake on this circuit, if Banky just holds on to the lead, isn't too aggressive in his defending, he should be okay. Did I see Stefanko in problem?
No, that was actually Banky as well. What much worse, he actually got Variant Alta completely wrong, and that actually has allowed Tasby to come back in.
So Mohamed Tasby in P2 putting pressure on Ben Spanky. They are the 1-2, bottom left and right of your screen respectively. Stefanko did have a nervy moment, a little bit further down than the Nabil boys are involved in 7th and 8th. As I tell you what, Tasby might be close enough here. Is this an overtaking opportunity?
Yep.
Certainly is for Mohamed Tasby.
Oh,
race leader. Behind him, Jack Keithley and Russell Reyes.
Oh no, that is gonna open up a huge can of worms for Keithley. Who was that hit him? I think that might have been Reyes actually.
It was indeed. Keithley drops down to P11, P12, and with it, bottom right, you look at him, and he is looking thunderous.
Oh no, that is gonna really put a spanner into the works, and it will just go make the Kelvin meter just go up even higher for his head. That was not what he wanted. He had a poor start, he tried to make up for it, and the guy behind him just outbraked himself, causing an unnecessary collision.
So P11 can still pick up some points, but he wants to be in the double digits, does Jack Keithley. Let's see if he is able just to keep it together, because you can see he's gripping that wheel a little bit tighter, and his eyes are looking like thunder.
Wow, wait, it's almost like shifty eyes now. It's wide open, heartbeat metal gun through the roof because of that. And for Stefanko now, he is the flag bearer for the team to actually try and salvage some points. Then Ibrahim, meanwhile, is up to P7, so he is actually doing his bit to try and recover what has been a disastrous start to the round.
Yeah, you're quite right. We're on board with Stefanko at the moment. Let's go and see Mohamed Ibrahim. He did not qualify. He did not have a chance to qualify, Mohamed Ibrahim, but there he is down up to P6. He's splitting the SEM9 boys, and Ibrahim will have been a little bit disgruntled that he got the qualifying ban, but it's an accumulation of incidents over the season. But he's certainly making up for it. This is a great race.
Well, absolutely. It's a great race so far. For Tasby to be up in front, it's like the stuff of his wildest dreams here, to just see the whole thing open up for him. But for the time being, at least, he's going to have to keep it focused, because 1.3 seconds is not a comfortable enough gap. He needs to really be clear ahead. Yes, he's outside DRS, but he just wants to be clear ahead. Like, conversely, Ibrahim wants to actually be closer to those guys after this.
Let's just have a check-up on Jack Keithley, see how Keithley, who was on pole, but was then kicked off pole and then kicked out of the circuit in an incident that has seen him drop down to P10. He's closing in on young Axel Knockom. There is Keithley, so let's have a look on Axel Knockom and see what view he's got of Jack Keithley, as Keithley drives, can't get close to Axel Knockom.
Yeah, I think Knockom would not want to put too much of a fight, as you can see there. Sporting similar colors, fluorescent, but it is Aston Martin branding, so quite cheeky there. As he moves to the side, then he knows full well he cannot defend too hard coming out to Tamburello. And guess what? He actually gave way even before the start-finish line, but he actually now has the DRS.
Maybe that's clever. Maybe that 10-year-old is a lot smarter than we think.
Yeah, that's actually quite clever if he did so, but unfortunately he cannot fully utilize that, or unless, of course, he did not know that he has DRS. Either way, Keithley's actually gotten away now, so by the next lap, Keithley will be setting his sights on Julian Kunze.
I just need to take us back up to P2. There is a change. Stefanko has got himself ahead of Ben Banky. So Banky was in P1, lost it to Tasby, has now lost P2 to Martin Stefanko. And Inigo Anton isn't too far behind in P3. So Stefanko racing well in 2. And he's not out the championship reckoning either, is he?
Yeah, he's just mathematically still possible behind about 25 points, so it's a full race win behind. He would love to take that race win, but Banky being there, it's only just a minor points dent in this grand scheme of things.
Certainly is. So that's the battle for P2 at the moment. Banky, high-armed, looking relatively secure. Little look down into the zoom camera, a little winker for the audience at home. Hope you're enjoying that. What has happened to Jack Keithley's P9? Ben Seek is out of the race. Jake 10 is out of the race. It's been a miserable time for the Apex Racing team.
Yeah, in fact, it's just been, just hardship after hardship for that team. They've been trying to learn after all these this whole season, but the results may not be a return, but at least they've actually gotten some experience. As now we look at Inigo Anton attacking the back of Naqib Aslan.
But he's under pressure from Mohamed Ibrahim. So there is Ibrahim. We'll look forward again. So there is Inigo Anton. He's got Naqib Aslan, He's got himself quietly up into P4, Nakib. Again, he's not going to win the title, but there is money at stake right the way through. A P3 is worth, it's in the thousands of dollars. That's a good night's work.
Yeah, a good year's work even for some, because it's actually a very high in terms of the money pots. As we look at Ibrahim then, hunting the curve, it looks as though Nakib may have mounted the curve one too many times higher, and now he's actually let Inigo in his sights.
Yeah, so Inigo Anton is in P5. He's ahead of Ibrahim, actually. Inigo Anton is in P5. Ibrahim in 6. Nabil Aslan is behind them. Keeping half an eye on that as Ibrahim tries to maybe make the move right here. Mohamed Ibrahim, the defense from Inigo Anton, and that's well defended by the Filipino.
Absolutely, you can see that just now when he crossed the line, he had the DRS because he was that much closer to Nakib after Nakib made a mistake at the Variante Alta, so that's why it allowed him to stay ahead. And because of this, it has formed a bit of a DRS train where the advantage of the DRS is negated when cars are just that close to each other. So someone has to make a mistake in order to have that. Oh, speaking of mistake, Ibrahim has made one coming out of Tosa, and that will allow Nabil to get up to the back of him.
Okay, so Tosa has another victim. Let's check up on, as we're on board with Ibrahim, it's a grimace rather than a smile. Jack Keithley still in P9. The man he's chasing is Julian Kunze, who's in P8. So Keithley at the moment just 7 points for his work in race number 1. He's got less than half the race to increase that points total.
Yeah, it's 9 points now actually in Banky's hand, so it'll be 24 by the end of this race. So I'm sorry, 17, right? Plus 9, 26. It'll be a race win away. Keithley has to win the next race, get fastest lap, and hopes that Banky will be out of it in that last race in order to stand up any chance of overhauling the Slovakian.
Okay, we must go to Benz Banky because let's see how the Slovak is doing, and the answer is, I tell you what, he's quite happy. He's got P3. Ahead of them, Stefanko is closing up on Mohamed Tasbi. We've rather ignored Mohamed Tasbi. Sorry about that, Taz. He's always in the shadow for some reason, Tasbi, isn't he? Here he is leading the race, and we're not even talking about him. But he is coming under pressure here from Martin Stefanko. A victory for Stefanko. That makes it interesting.
Absolutely. In fact, Stefanko, for him, he's about, again, we saw 25 points coming into this. Banky, if he finishes third, it's just a 9-point dent. So it will be 17 points,
17, okay.
16
All
points,
it means is Banky to crash or drop low down, and it's very, very possible. Lots still to happen in the final 6 minutes. At the moment, though, Tasbi, who's, let's not forget, he's got a race win to his name already, Mohamed Tasbi. And he's got a good pedigree himself. He's got Team Flash behind him, who are the defending champions, so there's plenty of pride at stake for Tasbi.
Absolutely, and his brother, A.R. Mama Alif Hamilton, watching on from Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana, will be wheeling him on here, trying to actually give the moral support and mental support if he could. But Stefanko has DRS. That might be an overtaking chance coming to turn 1, as Ibrahim now is trying to IP4. Around the outside, in fact, Stefanko with the DRS is actually much more powerful than we expected.
Sorry, I broke away there because there's been a problem for Inigo Anton, which means Mohamed Ibrahim's up into P5. That unforced me to miss the Stefanko overtake over Tasbi. Tasbi made the error. So much going on. This is good news for the Mumbai Falcons team, because they've got their race in P3 and P5.
Yep, but in terms of the overall Drivers' Championship, this is what Stefanko needed. He is now up in front. He's just wishing that Nakib would be much closer to Banky so that he could get at least more points differential in his favor. But for the time being, this is what Williams wanted. At least one of their drivers challenging for the win.
Stefanko leads Tasbi. Banky, let's have a look at Nakib Aslan, see how close he is to the back of Benz Banky, and the answer is not particularly. In fact, Nakib is coming under real pressure from our friend Mohamed Ibrahim. This has been a brilliant drive from Ibrahim. His lap time, he's got a 19.7. The fastest lap at the moment belongs to it's not actually, belongs to Jack Keithley, a 19.3. Keithley trying to work his way through, and he's close on the back of Julian Kunze as Ibrahim goes past Nakib into P4.
Yep. DRS playing its role there, and once again I thought that DRS was not going to be so effective, but because referencing to the real world F1 race that happened here. But it looks as though in RaceRoom it is very powerful, and Ibrahim has made quite a few astonishing moves around the outside with the DRS, now up to 4th. As we look at the fastest lap right now, Stefanko's got it.
Stefanko has got it. I can tell you, Jack Keithley is also making his way up. He's got himself ahead of Julian Kunter. So he's up into P7 now. Nabil Aslan is next in his sights as Kunter drops backwards. We keep on Jack, but this could be, that incident could be the one that cost him the whole title.
Oh, that will be so disastrous for the East Anglian, especially given the fact that pole position, he had part one of the job done. It's just unfortunately, again, the theme of the whole season, Williams not getting their starts right, and it bit him at the worst possible juncture, Des.
Up at the top, Stefanko. Now, there was just half a second between him and Tasby. They're pulling a long way there, 1.5 seconds clear of Ben Spanky, and Banky himself, he's got a 1.8 second lead from Mohammed Ibrahim. And does Ibrahim play the team guy here and make sure that he doesn't go past Ben Spanky? It's hardly team orders, but you'd imagine team etiquette says, Ibrahim, you do not go past Banky.
Well, he was almost groveling in a way, isn't it? The way that he thanked his team on several occasions, especially with the good results. And in this particular case, it might just be that the team will repay him with good kudos after this by not attacking his teammate. Yes, he also wants to challenge for the title. He's still mathematically in it. But again, the big picture is, if they were to collide and just get no points, Williams Esports might just come back into that.
Possibly, but that's a big if. We've got only 2 minutes left. There's been a high number of casualties. Inigo Anton, who was racing well, he's out. Ben Seek and Jake Ten from Brunei, they are both out. Josh Perwin's having another difficult time. Even Nakib and Nabil, who are 5 and 6, not able to really make much headway on the big four. The Mumbai Falcons and the Williams, they are the two big teams. They are the big four drivers.
Indeed, but at least M9 can console the fact that they're the best of the rest. They ran them close. And in some of the fixed setup races that we had this year, they could sneak in a win or two, as we look at Nakib then, a bit far away to get up to the back of Ibrahim for the time being, but he'll be happy to actually start further up than the rest of the championship contenders, as they're going to fight it out come race 2.
I tell you, Jack Keithley has got very close onto the back of Nabil Aslam. 1:27 to go. This could be important. DRS for Keithley as he flies into P6. So he's trying to make up as much ground as he possibly can, trying to reduce the deficit. He's got himself up into double digits. That's 10 points for Jack Keithley.
But it's still 6 points lost against Ben Spanky, who is up in 3rd right now. So again, he did not want that collision with Russell Reyes, and unfortunately Russell, we were giving him high praises for his driving, and unfortunately he kind of disappointed us in that particular instance.
You were right. You can tell me I told you so. That's what you can say, Amo Hazi.
I'll hold it back. I will not say that one.
Back up to the front, Martin Stefanko. He's, is he on his final lap? He may well be on his final lap, you know.
Oh, and tell you what, Ibrahim might be in trouble here, because I'm seeing on the timing screen, slowdown penalty, continuing to use track limits, and he did that just now coming out of Aqua Minerali, where he just shortcut the exit, and if he doesn't slow the car in time, he might actually get an unnecessary added time to his race that will actually send him out of that top 4.
Okay, no, there is one more lap to go. He's just a bit too quick, is Martin Stefanko. So he's got to make sure that his tyres look after themselves. He's got enough fuel in the car. Was it race 1 where the fuel is by 4?
Indeed. In fact, this is the race that we have. So at least they don't have to worry about the fuel at this point in time, because you can see there, they have enough to go to the way to the line, so they're still pushing. But tire-wise, yeah, it looks as though they can actually just firewall the throttle right now. Everybody's on medium, so Alex's point was right. It's actually not that harsh on tires.
Josh Bowen was the only one who went on hard compound tyres, everybody else on medium, as Martin Stefanko has got himself a 1.5 second lead here from Mohammed Tasbi. So Stefanko is going to make a big statement.
Yep, and I'm looking at his finger every time we are doing onboard. You can see the right of his thumb. He's using the overtake button. He's actually still inching away as much as he could from Tasbi, even if he's on the final lap, even if he is having a almost 2 second lead.
There is the view that he's got behind him of Mohammed Tasbi. But Martin Stefanko has negotiated himself rather well around this final lap. No nerves there, and Stefanko keeps himself in contention. as he comes to the start-finish line. It will be a third win of the season for Martin Stefanko. He takes it from Mohamed Tasbi. Ben's Banki comes in P3. Mohamed Ibrahim in 4. Nakib Aslan down in 5. And Jack Keithley, he's resurrected 10 points out of that incident, but could that be the end of his championship? But it is Williams' teammate, Martin Stefanko, who has the victory ammo.
Absolutely, and he drove a faultless race despite starting outside of the top 3, which is quite difficult because most of the wins that have come at Imola in the Grand Prix have all been in the top 3. So Stefanko then proving that historical data can be skewed slightly if you became an outlier. And in this case, Stefanko being the outlier may just be what he needs come the end of the season, because that win has actually propelled him right into the thick of it.
There is the confirmation. Stefanko also picked up the fastest lap, takes the victory. It will actually take him above Jack Keithley in the overall championship standings. Banki a P3 to improve his chances of taking the title. Mohamed Ibrahim helping Mumbai Falcons. Nakib the best of the Sem 9. Jack Keithley with 10 points. Nabil, Kunze, Finney and Russell Reyes, who caused the problems, finishing in the top 10. Axel Knockom, a creditable P11.
Congratulations there to Martin Stefanko. We'll speak to him in just a moment, but we were just mentioning slow starts for Williams. This case for Jack Keithley.
Yeah, so yeah, not sure what they're doing, or maybe they're doing the usual thing, but I'm not sure what the other guys are doing, because Sem 9 and of course Team Flash always with the lightning, the flash fast starts. So yes, but I feel for Keithley. I mean, very unlucky. Also lap 2 getting taken out by Russell Reyes. That's going to be hard to swallow. But let's keep it positive.
Yeah.
Let's talk to the race winner, Martin Stefanko. Martin, didn't quite get the qualifying you wanted, but the race pace, that was a very impressive win.
Thank you. Yeah, qualifying was never my strong point, so I'm always stronger in races and, you know, being captain and whatnot. So that's always been, you know, my biggest is I may not be the fastest, but with my experience and the consistency that I have, I can overcome the challenge of, you know, being a tiny bit slower than that. So, yeah. I'm happy. I didn't expect to win. I was like P5, P6 after the start, so what I was expecting. The pace was good. Yeah, what can I say? I mean, unlucky for Jack. We could have scored more points, but at least he's got a better position for the main race, so that gives us a good chance to try to overcome the other team that we're fighting with for the team's championship.
Yeah, we were just discussing before the race and just moments ago, why do Williams sometimes get off to quite slow starts in races? I mean, Jack, first in qualifying, drops down to, what was it, P3? After that, straight off the start?
No, I've struggled with starts all season, to be honest. We've tried multiple things and nothing we do seems to work against the other guys. They just get mega starts every time and we are a little bit slower off the line. I don't know why. Like I said, we've tried a lot of things. Maybe that's just something that we're missing, but yeah, I mean, fortunately for us, we're able to, you know, claw back with our pace and whatnot, so at least that's something. But yeah, it's something that we tried looking at, but we haven't 100% figured it out just yet, though we made some improvements from race to race, but it's still not there. So yeah, now we'll have to wait and see for the second race. It will be difficult for me starting from the mid-pack, so yeah, but I'll try my best. We have a strategy for the race. We know what we're gonna do, so yeah, hopefully it works out, and yeah, we have another good race and try to fight the other guys for the team's championship, like I said.
Okay, Martin, good luck for that race, and congratulations on winning the sprint race, okay?
Well done.
Thank you guys.
He's as puzzled as we are. I'm asking you. If he doesn't know, I don't expect you to either.
Yeah, I would sort of like to do. Maybe I mean, they're not going to tell us, but it'd be nice to see what the other teams are doing. But yeah, he'll have a tough race for race 2. But as we've seen today, anything can happen.
Exactly. Let's go for a quick commercial break. It's all going to come down to this one final race, the reverse grid. 30 minutes of racing to win the championship. That's next here. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the E1 Championship 2022.
And And we are off to a start. Jack Keithley gets the victory, punches the air in delight. Green lights get us up and running. Stefanko and Banky at the back. There is a collision. Great start, but he's bashed down now into P12.
Yeah, and you know what's double whammy there? Or, oh, Keithley spun it. Keithley has half spun it and into the crowd. Is a chaotic start to race 2 there.
Stefanko gets off to a slowish start, and Josh Perwin has made a move. Masvilton has also made a move, and there's more contact behind. Again, Mohammed Ibrahim as 2 racers go flying off on the outside.
They're now trying to get by in the second as Tasby. Oh, it's a hit! It's a big hit there. Tasby sent into the wall by Jack Keithley, and that is definitely going to be a steward's inquiry after this, Des.
So Mohammed Tasby for the 2nd race in a row loses really a big number of points. This is a terrific start as Kalen Chin has a big problem.
Oh, he just went onto the curb there, got launched into the air. And unfortunately for Kalen, he's lost a huge amount of positions.
6 positions indeed it was, and contact there as well on the back there of Martin Stefanko.
Oh, in fact, it's even worse for Kalen. He's done an Austin Powers. He's actually stuck it right there in the pit lane. No, that is so disastrous for the young Aussie Singaporean.
Axel is P13 at the moment, 10-year-old who's getting tons of support on our Facebook pages.
Oh.
Let's go on board with Axel. Sorry, fella, went on board exactly the wrong time.
And he took out Nabil as well for good measure. So that is actually a rather weird way to have a crash. Here comes Keithley on the inside. He has actually touched Ibrahim, and that is the most controversial moment of this season. Look, his front wing is gone, Des.
Stefanko, smooth stop, but Masvilton is there behind them. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in all kinds of problems. And we are off to a start. Jack Keithley gets the victory, punches the air in delight.
Hello and welcome to the E1 Championship 2022.
And we are off to a start. Jack Keithley gets the victory, punches the air in delight. Green lights get us up and running. Stefanko and Banky at the back. There is a collision. Great start, but he's bashed down now into P12.
Yeah, and you know what's double whammy there? Or, oh, Keithley spun it. Keithley has half spun it and into the crowd. Is a chaotic start to race 2 there.
Stefanko gets off to a slowish start, and Josh Perwin has made a move. Masvilton has also made a move, and there's more contact behind. Again, Mohammed Ibrahim as 2 racers go flying off on the outside.
They're now trying to get by in the second as Tasby. Oh, it's a hit! It's a big hit there. Tasby sent into the wall by Jack Keithley, and that is definitely going to be a steward's inquiry after this, Des.
So Mohammed Tasby for the 2nd race in a row loses really a big number of points. This is a terrific start as Kalen Chin has a big problem.
Oh, he just went onto the curb there, got launched into the air. And unfortunately for Kalen, he's lost a huge amount of positions.
6 positions indeed it was, and contact there as well on the back there of Martin Stefanko.
Oh, in fact, it's even worse for Kalen. He's done an Austin Powers. He's actually stuck it right there in the pit lane. No, that is so disastrous for the young Aussie Singaporean.
Axel is P13 at the moment, 10-year-old who's getting tons of support on our Facebook pages.
Oh.
Let's go on board with Axel. Sorry, fella, went on board exactly the wrong time.
And he took out Nabil as well for good measure. So that is actually a rather weird way to have a crash. Here comes Keith Lee on the inside. He has actually touched Ibrahim, and that is the most controversial moment of this season. Look, his front wing is gone, Des.
Stefanko, smooth start, but Masvilton is there behind them. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in all kinds of problems. And we are up to a start. Jack Keithley gets the victory, punches the air in delight.
As always, a very warm welcome back to the E1 Championship 2022, round 7, the final round. It all comes down to this. My name is Adam Carruthers. I'm next to the race director himself, the one and only Alex Young. Now, everything has been organized by Axel Sports, EGG and Astro, supported by MAM. That's a Motorsport Association of Malaysia, and RaceRoom. And we are broadcasting live on Arena plus Suka. And if you have friends around the globe that want to take part in this, easy enough. We're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook as well. Just look up E1 Championship. It's an easy link to share. And across the region, we're broadcasting in Singapore via Mio Sports 2, in Vietnam on VTV Cab, Thailand on True Gaming Up, and in Indonesia via TVRI Sport. So, earlier today, we already had the qualifying, and we've just minutes ago finished the sprint race. 15 minutes of action. The highlights narrated by Des and Emma.
And Jack Keithley was on pole position in the Williams to the right of your screen, but Ben Spanky, the championship leader, getting off to a great start, as did Mohammed Tasby. And Keithley, this would not be the first of his problems today.
Indeed, that slow start would just snowball into something even worse later on, but we'll talk about that after this. As onboard Tasby around the outside there through Temporello, that was brave, but here is where the biggest controversy of the season has happened so far.
Well, at the moment, Tasby takes it behind them. You just saw the incident. Russell Reyes running into the back of Jack Keithley. And Jack Keithley, who was second in the championship standings, catapulted down to P11, worked his way back up, but title's effectively gone.
Well, effectively, yes, but if he could actually just salvage with a win and fastest lap in a second race, that could save it. But as we see here, this is Stefanko around the outside of Tasby with no defense here against a very potent DRS range. So really then, Stefanko using it full well to take his second victory of the season.
Mohammed Ibrahim doing exactly the same as well. He qualified at the didn't qualify. He was at the very, very back of the grid, and he got himself all the way up into P4. It's another brilliant drive, but by the time we came to the showing off finale, Martin Stefanko picking up the points, keeps him in the title hunt. In the result from the race we've just seen, Stefanko also adding 2 points for the fastest lap. Mohammed Tasby, again, really good season for Tasby. 20 points for the Team Flash Racer. Mohammed Ibrahim deserves real credit. He was never going to try and overtake Ben Spanky because the team competition is still well up for grabs. Nakib Aslan at P5, talk to me a little bit about the Jack Keithley scenario.
Yeah, Jack, right now, look the amount of points he's lost. 6 points to Banky. He came into this round about 17, so it's now 23 points. It's just mathematically in it between the both of them, but he really has to pull off a second race of a lifetime to actually overhaul the Slovakian.
The bad boy Russell Reyes down in P10. Best result of the season for Dan Finney from Team EGG. That's a very credible P9 for him. But Stefanko is the race winner, and Ben Spanky will hold on to the championship lead.
And what that has done to the championship, as we are calculating the drop points, there we go. It's actually now 16 points because Stefanko has leapfrogged Keithley up to second. Keithley then with the rather disappointing first race is now 22 points behind. So that snowballed a bit. So it's 23, close to our maps. We are trying to do arithmetics live on air anyway. But that is pretty much as close as you could get between the top three. And we can discount Ibrahim out of it now. He's 40 points coming to it. So with 27 up for grabs in this third race is between first and third for the championship win.
And then there were three. So 3 Europeans able to take the 4th E1 championship title.
Thanks there, Des and Ammo. And Emma, I'm going to ask you this because I asked Alex, I asked Martin just now, why do Williams get off to such slow starts?
Well, maybe we can safely guess here is this. Heavy fuel, because if you cast your minds back to the early 2000s in the era where Schumacher was driving Ferrari, he always had slow starts because the car was always full of fuel. So that's why he got really crappy starts. But then he makes up for it in the mid to the late part of the first stint before he comes in for refueling. So maybe Williams are running heavier compared to other cars because they want to have a safer margin of fuel coming to the end of a race, even if it's just a short sprint race.
Okay, I hope he was listening because he didn't seem to have an answer just now. A couple other things I want to pick up on. You were monitoring any penalties. Mohammed Ibrahim, I know he was very, very aggressive there. What happened, do you reckon?
I think he was just trying to distance himself away from Nakib in 5th place. Also the fact that he was running close of getting a penalty towards the end, but he managed to just back it up before the start-finish line before he could get a penalty, an arbitrary penalty from the in-game stewards itself. So luckily for him, he held off that, but he was really cutting it close because he was cutting the corners in some parts throughout the entire race.
Okay, well, tell you what, we've got some technical issues. So allow us to just go for a quick commercial break. When we return, hopefully we'll have some racing in store for you in the E1 Championship 2022. Be right back.
Hello and welcome to the E1 Championship 2022.
And we are up to a start. Jack Keithley gets the victory, punches the air in delight. Green lights get us up and running. Stefanko and Banky at the back. There is a collision. Great start, but he's bashed down now into P12.
Yeah, and you know what's double whammy there? Keithley spun it. Keithley has half spun it and into the crowd. Is a chaotic start to race 2 there.
Stefanko gets off to a slowish start, and Josh Perwin has made a move. Masvilton has also made a move, and there's more contact behind. Again, Mohammed Ibrahim as 2 racers go flying off on the outside.
They're now trying to get by in the second as Tasby. Oh, it's a hit! It's a big hit there. Tasby sent into the wall by Jack Keithley, and that is definitely going to be a steward's inquiry after this, Des.
So Mohammed Tasby for the 2nd race in a row loses really a big number of points. This is a terrific start as Kalen Chin has a big problem.
Oh, he just went onto the curb there, got launched into the air. And unfortunately for Kalen, he's lost a huge amount of positions.
6 positions indeed it was, and contact there as well on the back there of Martin Stefanko.
Oh, in fact, it's even worse for Kalen. He's done an Austin Powers. He's actually stuck it right there in the pit lane. No, that is so disastrous for the young Aussie Singaporean.
Axel is P13 at the moment, 10-year-old who's getting tons of support on our Facebook pages.
Oh.
Let's go on board with Axel. Sorry, fella, went on board exactly the wrong time.
And he took out Nabil as well for good measure. So that is actually a rather weird way to have a crash. Here comes Keithley on the inside. He has actually touched Ibrahim, and that is the most controversial moment of this season. Look, his front wing is gone, Des.
Stefanko, smooth start, but Masvilton is there behind them. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in all kinds of problems. And we are up to a start. Jack Keithley gets the victory, punches the air in delight.
Nakib might want to have to actually take his elbows out here. Banky on the inside, they're going side by side through the corkscrew, and Nakib somehow manages to hang around the outside to hold on to the lead just for the time being.
As Banky goes around the outside, more contact between him and Nakib. This is going to be our race winner for the Mumbai Falcons. This is going to be his debut victory for E1 Championship.
I finally managed to take victory for Mumbai Falcons. I just had to drive my pace consistently without doing any mistakes.
And Banky aiming for a double podium here to really set himself up for the rest of the season, because if you have a good race here, you definitely want to carry on the momentum as he goes onto the inside with the DRS, overtakes him, and Ibrahim follows suit. So Nick then thinking better of it because he's on a completely different race from the rest of them.
Look at that smile right there. I can see what this means to you.
And it seems that once you get a taste of victory, you can't get enough of it. So I'm here for more.
Great race. It's what we love about E1. We want to see it close, and we certainly had that.
This is the movement. That time Keithley was trying to go on the inside, coming down the hill. This is intense pressure from Jack Keithley on Ben Spanky.
Wow, look at that. The DRS also helped out because look at that, they pull away from Stefanko. They're gonna dink left and right. This is almost like Nico Hulkenberg and Nicolas Lapierre back in 2005 for the A1 GP race. And he's gone through. Keithley's gone through for the lead.
I can indeed.
Williams Esports on the tail fin. Ben Spanky is the man who is chasing. That's the battle for the victory. That's the battle for the 25 points.
But as a team, we did a great job. The car was fantastic. We were the fastest on track.
Martin Stefanko is right on his tail. We have had 1/3 of this race as Banky is then taken on the inside by the Williams of Stefanko. Gutsy move by the Slovak.
Martin, you look exhausted. How was it?
It was hard. I mean, this car is difficult to drive, especially when the tires go off.
Yeah, well, Martin is very, very fast. I mean, he's racing F1 eSport. He's a top guy in these cars.
You know, it is what it is.
Where do you risk it on the chicane? Where do you risk it on this lap? He tries to go down the inside. That is surely a risky maneuver, but a successful maneuver.
Yep.
We had a planned strategy for every single scenario, and when we knew what settings were gonna be used for the second race, we knew exactly what we were gonna do, and it worked out perfectly. So yeah, very happy.
We've got a very strong team, very strong package here as a group, and we're looking to progress for the season ahead.
Fantastic start to the team, and I hope we can continue like that.
We are at Donington Park in Leicestershire.
Here comes Keithley on the inside. He has actually touched Ibrahim, and that is the most controversial moment of this season. Look, his front wing is gone, Des.
Wow, Mohamed Ibrahim, we are on board with him. He got himself up into 3P3, but was then pushed wide, and you can see him bottom right. He's pretty distraught at what's gone on there. That's effectively race one for him. Out of the window, Jack Keithley is the man now in P3.
And look at that, punching through the center. That's Dafa Adianza. He would like to rate his chances here. They're going side by side through McLean's. That is normally what you see in MotoGP or Superbike racing. But Stefanko manages to just outfox Matt Milton for P9.
Irwin is in 7. In fact, Irwin may well just have lost out.
Oh no, he ran out of fuel. He actually ran out of fuel on the line. Would you believe it? A good point-scoring finish position for Josh. Just went completely backing. He ran out of fuel. Look, the car's actually crawling to a halt. Can he cross the start-finish line? No, he can't.
Race number 2 will be underway. Donington Park, the venue. Stefanko, smooth start, but Masvilton is there behind them. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in all kinds of problems.
Second Matt Milton really is having the race of his life right now.
He is. He's holding on for grim death, is Jin Masvilton. He's in P2. Says 3, ignore it. It's P2 as Keithley really accelerates away. Masvilton responds superbly. They are wheel to wheel. They are side by side. Keithley just drives through. That's a wonderfully aggressive overtaking maneuver from Jack Keithley.
He doesn't want to use too much of it before the stop. He tries to get up to the back of Tasby. Around the outside compass, that is actually a brave move. Whether he can make a stake without DRS is another matter altogether. Who's got the better momentum? And amazingly, Banky without DRS manages to get up to 5th. Now he can set his sights on trying to chase up to the back of Jack Keithley, about 2.2 seconds ahead. Oh, Keithley's off! Keithley has actually gone off!
Well, there is Jack Keithley. racing going down. He's down into P7 now. That was a big mistake.
He is basically doing what Charlie Whiting used to do, as Anton around the outside, and he's been shoved out by his fellow Filipinos. So Russell there, I'm not sure where either way it happened, because we need to have an onboard camera on that. But I think Russell may have actually shoved out Inigo into the kitty litter.
We are on board here with Kalen Chin, and who's that?
That might be Dafa Adianza. It is Adianza who's actually been hit there by Kalen. So luckily no damage for either both of those drivers, but that would have been a good wake-up call for the Indonesian.
Another of your friends, he's one place down on him and is actually under pressure from Mihai Neg in this the battle for the final point. In P15, and Mihai Neg spins off almost as if our camera went onto him and added too much weight to his car. We're trying to rescue it as Kalen Chin and Stefanko is really making a lot of moves to try to get ahead of Kalen Chin. This is a cracking battle. And look at the concentration of Martin Stefanko down left of your screen.
And look at that, around the outside, he's going to go through Stowe. That is a good move there. He did kind of like a Nigel Mansell there, selling Kalen short on the inside and goes right the outside, swooping in. But Kalen will fight back, and he will have the DRS next standby.
In the early stages, as Dan Finney is pushed outwards. Welcome to the E1 Championship, Mr. Finney. Okay, so Nabil is in P2 and Nakib goes around the outside of Nabil. Is he able to make it stick? Yes, Nakib overtakes his brother, and then Stefanko goes through on the inside as well. Is Nabil able to hold on? No, Stefanko does really well, but that's cheeky from Nakib Aslan. And poor old Nabil is left looking, well, at two cars in front of him that were behind him. We're on board with Anton as he tries to claim that place back from Ibrahim. These two going wheel to wheel, side by side, and look at this, Russell Reyes comes into it, the JMX Phantom Racer, and Kalen Chin goes past Inigo, who won 2 places, lost 2 places, and finds himself back in P10.
Oh, this is the sort of racing I was anticipating there. That's what this car's giving, but Kalen spun it around. Kalen has spun it out of club, and he has lost again 4 positions out of that.
That's the battle that we're seeing. Keith Lee and Nabil Aslan, they're 1 and 2. We're on board with Dafa Ardians. Oh, Dafa! Oh, spins out and spins out of an almost certain podium. Green lights get us up and running. Stefanko and Banky at the back. There is a collision. Great start, but he's bashed down now into P12.
Yeah, and you know what's double whammy there? Keefley spun it. Keefley has half spun it, and into the crowd is a chaotic start to race 2 there.
Stefanko gets off to a slowish start, and Josh Perwin has made a move. Masvilton has also made a move, and there's more contact behind. Again, Mohammed Ibrahim as 2 racers go flying off on the outside.
They're now trying to get by in a second as Tasby. Oh, it's a hit! It's a big hit there. Tasby sent into the wall by Jack Keefley, and that is definitely going to be a steward's inquiry after this, Des.
So Mohammed Tasby for the 2nd race in a row loses really a big number of points. This is a terrific start as Kalen Chin has a big problem.
Oh, he just went onto the curb there, got launched into the air. And unfortunately for Kalen, he's lost a huge amount of positions.
6 positions indeed it was, and contact there as well on the back there of Martin Stefanko.
Oh, in fact, it's even worse for Kalen. He's done an Austin Powers. He's actually stuck it right there in the pit lane. No, that is so disastrous for the young Aussie Singaporean.
Axel is P13 at the moment, 10-year-old who's getting tons of support on our Facebook pages. Let's go on board with Axel. Sorry, fella, went on board exactly the wrong time.
And he took out Nabil as well for good measure. So that is actually a rather weird way to have a crash. Here comes Keith Lee on the inside. He has actually touched Ibrahim, and that is the most controversial moment of this season. Look, his front wing is gone, Des.
Stefanko Smooth stop, but Masvilton is there behind them. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars in all kinds of problems.
Thanks for staying with us here once again as we try to rectify any of the technical issues before we can proceed with the race day. And as everybody in the back end is working furiously hard at this, I'm going to bring Amo back into the conversation because I still have about a dozen questions for you, my friend, concerning what we saw during the sprint race. DRS, this is something which we mentioned at the start of the show, but it was DRS which took Martin Stefanko past Mohamed Tasbi in order to take the lead in the race. How well played was that, do you feel?
Absolutely well played, because he could have gotten it completely wrong and just whacked the back of another car like what Russell Reyes did, because he had the DRS on there, so he misjudged the braking, whacked the back of Jack Keighley. So you have to play your cars right, even though you have a very powerful overtaking aid. Plus, it actually was quite more potent than I anticipated, so it was nice to see that overtaking can be done. There's only one spot, of course, it's Tamburello. Other overtaking spots, you really have to force the issue to get a position at them.
And can we expect more of that, obviously, if the second race does happen?
Yeah, absolutely, especially the fact that the guys further behind, the faster guys, may relish just overtaking 1 or 2 cars even in one go at them. So really then, glad to see that DRS is quite effective here, and it does create overtaking, albeit even if it's just one corner, but it just provides us with that much excitement, especially with overtaking just happening right in front of us there.
Okay, we have some rather sad news to share with you though right now. I'm just getting word in my ear that we cannot proceed with the rest of the race day. That means we will have to postpone today's race day, round 7, the final round, to a date which we will announce very soon on social media, so please do find us E1 Championship. But as to what the issue is, Alex, I know you're working furiously right now, but what's the problem?
Okay, so it's the beauty about online racing. There seems to be a connection issue. So the game is crashing, people are getting disconnected. A lot of people can't see the server right now. You know, these sort of online games, you have to be connected to the internet for the game to work. And it seems to be affecting people in different ways. So, the guys based in Europe are actually connected to the server right now. But the guys, funnily enough, here in Asia, which are the closest to the server, are all having issues. Can't even see the server at the moment. So, unfortunately, we can't go racing. And we can't hang around here all night waiting for the problem, trying to resolve it. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to call the round. So we'll postpone it.
Moving forward, obviously there's still a lot of cash at stake for 20,000 USD to be shared out amongst the winners. So the entire race day will just be postponed from qualifying to the sprint race, and obviously we haven't even had race 2, the reverse grid.
We think the issue started to come in towards the end of race 1. Well, actually before race 1 qualifying, because we had a couple of guys drop out. Normally if 1 or 2 guys drop out, this is online racing. We'll go, sorry, that's the way it is sometimes. We can't account for 100% success rate. That's just not reasonable. So we have to look at it first. Most likely we were going to call the round null and void, but we have to finish the race control stuff and go through everything first.
Okay, all the checks and balances, of course.
Yes.
And again, our deepest apologies to all of the races, to all of the viewers about what has transpired. But as Alex said, this is what happens when you are doing online racing. We hope you can understand. E1 Championship for updates on all the social media platforms, EGG as well. Any updates, the moment they're confirmed on our end, will be shared with you, the viewers, the drivers, anybody involved, anybody with a vested interest in the E1 Championship 2022. But for now, I want to give my thanks to Des and Amo for calling what we've witnessed here today so far. As disappointed as everybody is right now. And of course to Alex, and I know he's probably got a long night ahead of him trying to fix all the issues. All the updates will be coming once he confirms everything. My name is Adam Carruthers. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.